Hello everyone, Mac here, and today we're crafting something really cute and cuddly. We're gonna make a little pumpkin buddy, a little Halloween, holiday, harvest themed little fellow, and I wanna give this to my youngest daughter, Kenzie. So I'm gonna start off here with some orange clay. I'm using a professional clay, which is a little harder, so it takes a bit more work to kind of soften the clay up and make it more palatable to get the shape that I want. The first shape that I'm going to make is the actual body of the pumpkin. So we need a nice orange pumpkin. Once we get that circle, then go and put that divot in the top. So this will be where the stem will be coming out of the pumpkin. Of course, after that, you're going to start to shape it. I do like making pumpkins well because they're not very hard to make. The shape is pretty consistent. Even if you flatten out the bottom a little bit, it's okay because no pumpkin has a perfect shape to it. So if it's a little wonky on this side or wonky on that side, I don't think it creates much of a problem. And then it's just really easy to go ahead and put those nice little ribbed curvatures onto the pumpkin. The next thing I'm going to do is look for a side to put the face, because this pumpkin's going to have a face on it, eyeballs and, little blushes and a little mouth. And so once I make the decision of where the face is going to go, I'm going to start placing some eyeballs on it. And then I want the pumpkin to have little cheek blushes because I think that'd be really cute. It's going to my little daughter, so the pumpkin should have little cheek blushes to make it even cuter. Now, I really debated really hard. Do I make it a smiley face or a bit of a sad face? Do I want to curve it up or curve it down? And I just kind of going back and forth. I ended up just deciding to just go down with a little slightly sad face, not a truly sad face pumpkin, because he's not sad, but he's also not smiling. I don't know. I just let it go free form into which direction to go. So it looks like a little bit of a smile, but I'm going to widen it out just a little bit so it doesn't look as sad. Again, adding those little blushes on to make the little pumpkin a little bit cuter. This little guy is going to have legs because I figure this is a pumpkin that has arms and legs, but I don't want to make a full body. I just want the little pumpkin, he's sitting down. So I'm shaping some legs. And I figured just nice little brown legs that kind of matches the holiday theme. The color of dark brown matches, I think, for the legs. It looks really good. Of course, this was a really hard clay. I had to work with it quite a bit to soften it up and then to get the shape that I wanted. If I had to create a backstory for the pumpkin, his name would be Gerald. Gerald the pumpkin, and he's sitting down because he's had a long day and he's a little tired. And he's just living his normal pumpkin life the way little pumpkins do. And he's just relaxing. Gerald is sitting down because he's had a long day and he's tired. That's what the theme is behind this little pumpkin. What does he do? Gerald works in the pumpkin factory where they produce, I don't know, pumpkins, whatever it takes. You create the backstory. It could be a different backstory. Whatever backstory you want for Gerald, then make that your backstory for Gerald. But this is what I had in mind for Gerald. I started to add in all these pieces. And then I thought about, you know what? In his mouth, I want to have a nice little tongue, a nice little like a red tongue. And Gerald is sticking his tongue out slightly like, and that's what Gerald is doing. And so I worked that in. It's a really small piece. So it's a little tedious to kind of make sure I get that placed properly. You'll get a better look of it here in a moment. But Gerald is also a wizard, and he has to have his themed wizard cap. And I used a black clay with gold sparkles because every wizard cap should have gold sparkles. Wizard caps are pretty easy to make. It's just a bit of a tube shape, and then it's going to be shaping the brim of the cap and slowly working my hands around. I have to continue to work around and around and around to make the hat large enough. But I was thinking, Gerald needs something on his head because he looks a little bald right now. And Gerald is not an old pumpkin. He's a young pumpkin. And I was thinking, well, if he's a pumpkin, he could have little leaves on his head. So I added a couple of those to kind of sit under the cap to give it a little more depth to Gerald. But I was thinking, you know what? Gerald doesn't have a stem. So Gerald needs a stem on his head as well, even though it's going to be under the cap and no one will ever see it. We know it's there and it should be there. We know it's there. And so I put the stem on and then I placed the cap on Gerald. And I think I like the look. It gives him that nice little Halloween theme and it's matching, I think, really well. But Gerald's legs are sticking out to the front and there's nothing under the back of Gerald. So he's a little lopsided. So I decided to have Gerald sit on a leaf and mixing together some orange and red. Those are the colors that you want for a fall autumn leaf. I didn't want the colors to blend too much because if they blend too much, then I just kind of end up with the pink. And I wanted a bit of a swirly shape and a swirly color because it's like a fall leaf with that beautiful coloration on it. I wish I had a little more yellow in this one, but the yellow and red was a good coloration. And then Gerald would be sitting on a leaf because he's sitting down just on the ground. And having Gerald sit on a leaf, I think would be pretty cool. It wasn't too hard to shape the leaf. I've done a lot of leaves, placed Gerald on the leaf, and it looks good. However, the problem I have now is that it's sitting directly on a wooden table. So I got it up off the table and have it on a nice little cap now so I can take a look at it from all angles and all sides. And that looks a little better, but now it looks like Gerald has almost like a leaf. I don't know, it's just a leaf shooting out his butt. So that looks a little crazy. So I decided to add some more leaves and say, okay, well now Gerald is going to be sitting on a pile of leaves. But you can see on the front here, there's a bit of a gap. So I put a leaf all the way around, different leaves, but on the front there's a gap and that didn't look good. So I created another leaf to go on top of that one on the front just to fill in that space so it wouldn't be a gap there. And just, it took a little effort to work it in. I probably made that leaf a little bit too thick, a little thinner would have been easier to work it into place, but I did get that leaf in place. And now Gerald is sitting on a bed of leaves as though he's in a forest or in a field. He's just sitting down. Again, Gerald had a long day and he's relaxing now, sitting on a bed of leaves. With projects like this, you can always continue to add more. And I was thinking of maybe Gerald could hold something in his hand, but then I was like, you know what? I don't want to overdo it. I find myself sometimes when I'm crafting, I tend to overdo it. So I said, okay, but I do need to put something on his cap. There's just a lot of black and needs a little bit of color. So we'll do one leaf. I debated over whether or not that leaf should be green or whether it should be red. And I decided to do a nice little red leaf sitting on the side of his nice little wizard's cap. And I thought that'd be a nice addition. And then I said, okay, that's it. Now let me look around. And I kind of twisted Gerald around, took a look at every side, made sure everything looked okay. And then I'm not aiming for perfect on this one. This is not intended to be perfect. I'm going to give this to my daughter, but I wanted it to be something cute that she would appreciate. And I think that this is it. I don't know if I want to add anything else to it. I think I'm done here at this point. Now it's off to the oven to bake Gerald. One of the things I love about polymer clay is once you bake it, it doesn't shrink and the colors stay pretty consistent. Gerald came out of the oven looking pretty much the same way he went into the oven. But since he's going to be going to my daughter and she's only 2 and she loves to she's a little rough. She's a little rough with her toys. She throws them around. So I'm going to do a nice heavy coat of UV polymer, of resin to make sure that Gerald is a little sturdier, going around all the different sides, top, bottom, making sure everything is completely covered. And this is a nice resin. I like this resin. I've used it before and it does create a glossy look. So if you don't like that glossy look, you may not want to add the gloss to your Gerald, but this Gerald is a glossy kind of fellow. And so I think that this is going to really make it shine, but mostly it just is going to make this whole piece much more durable. The polymer resin really hardens a hard shell coat around it and makes the whole thing just really stick together. And if the arms are up and there are pieces that could break off, polymer clay is it can be a little flimsy, especially if it's dropped, and a 2-year-old is definitely going to drop it. So after this, we're going to put it into under the lights to harden the resin. First, I give it a quick glance over to make sure that I have all the pieces covered. And this is it. This is Gerald. This is what he looks like before I handed him to my daughter. Tell me what you think about it. I thought it was really cool. I like Gerald, and it only took a little while to make him, and he's a one of a kind. You'll never find another one quite like this one. Leave me in the comments down below and tell me what you think about it. Bye.